Okay, so get this. Just a couple years back, some of the biggest brains in AI were saying it'd be ages, like years and years, before AI could wrap its circuits around some crazy complex math
Yeah, I
problems.
remember that.
And wouldn't you know it, those same problems solved 12 months.
Wow.
Like AI went from totally bombing a math test to like acing the MCAT or something. It's wild,
It
right?
really is.
And it's that kind of crazy speed that has this AI expert, Leopold Aschenbrenner, saying, we're in the end game, people.
Yeah.
And that's what we're diving into today. How soon could artificial general intelligence, that's AGI, be here? And what's that mean for, well, us?
Right.
And I'll admit, I was a bit like, come on, isn't that a little dramatic? But then you really look at how fast things are changing.
It's incredible.
Aschenbrenner, he uses this idea of, get this, counting the orders of magnitude. Catchy, right?
Sure.
It's basically a way to track how much more powerful AI is getting. And he says it's like going from a little kid, a preschooler, just figuring out the world, to like a super smart high school kid
Yeah.
in 4 years.
And I think what's fascinating is how this speed kind of blindsided everyone. Like AI research, it was this slow, steady thing for decades. Then deep learning exploded onto the scene, and suddenly it's like we're holding on to a rocket.
No kidding. And the thing is, this isn't some like abstract thing happening in a lab somewhere. This is about the tech you're using right now. That AI tool you rely on could be practically obsolete in a few years.
It's true.
So think about the potential there, but also, maybe a little bit of, oh, wow, what does this mean for my job?
That's a valid concern.
It's huge. Remember GDC2. Struggled to write a decent paragraph. Now you've got GPT-4. Writing code, passing exams, heck, even getting humor.
Right.
It's a crazy jump in such a short time.
Yeah. And Aschenbrenner, he really breaks down the reasons for this progress into three main drivers: compute power, algorithmic efficiency, and what he calls unhobbling AI.
Okay, so compute power, faster, bigger computers, got it. Algorithms, basically making them smarter, more efficient. But this unhobbling thing, that's what really caught my attention.
Yeah, it's a powerful concept.
It's like we put AI in a little box and didn't even realize it.
It's like we've been holding it back without even knowing it. Aschenbrenner's argument is that by making some key changes, like giving AI access to more tools or, say, increasing its context window, how much information it can handle at once, massive leaps in capability.
So instead of just like asking GPT-4 a question, it could be out there on the internet running simulations, maybe even teaming up with other AIs to solve problems.
Exactly.
It's a bit mind-blowing when you think about it, and a little, I don't know, maybe a little scary too.
It's understandable to feel that way.
Like, are we ready for this?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it leads to Aschenbrenner's most, shall we say, attention-grabbing prediction.
Yeah.
That we could have AGI, real, actual, artificial general intelligence, as early as 2027.
2027, that's like right around the corner.
It is.
So we're talking AI that wouldn't just be good at specific things, but could be better than us at practically everything.
That's the potential.
Wow. Understandably, that sparked a lot of debate, especially about this idea of the data wall, which, for those of us who don't speak fluent AI, basically means running out of internet to learn from.
In a nutshell, yeah.
Like trying to learn, I don't know, Mandarin or something from a single dictionary.
Right, but Aschenbrenner, he's got an answer for that, too. He thinks researchers are already figuring out ways around it, like training AI on smaller, more focused data sets, or teaching it to, learn smarter, not just bigger, from what it already knows.
So even with this data wall, he still thinks we're on track for AGI by 2027. Which, well, that leads us to an even bigger, kind of wilder concept, superintelligence. But we'll get into that in a bit. Okay, so we're back, and things are about to get, well, even more interesting. Superintelligence. Not just a little smarter than us, but like, whoa, next level intelligence.
And we're not talking about some far-off future either. Aschenbrenner lays out a scenario that's, well, let's just say it's pretty intense.
Intense how? Give us the rundown.
Okay, so imagine this. We're not just talking about one AI that's as smart as, say, Einstein or, I don't know, Marie Curie.
Yeah.
We're talking potentially millions of times more intelligent.
Millions! Okay, now you're just messing with me, right? How could anything be that much smarter than us?
Well, Aschenbrenner, he argues that the key to this whole thing, this intelligence explosion, is actually something that seems kind of, well, obvious when you think about it. Automating AI research itself.
Okay, so instead of scientists and engineers doing all the work, the AI starts designing and improving itself.
Exactly. Think about it. Millions of these, like digital researchers, working 24/7, no coffee breaks, no complaining. analyzing data, testing ideas, even coming up with entirely new AI designs, stuff we can't even imagine.
So it's like hitting fast forward on AI development, but like on super speed.
Exactly. And to really drive this point home, Aschenbrenner, he uses this analogy of the hydrogen bomb.
Okay, I'm listening.
So the atomic bomb, obviously, that was a huge leap in, well, destructive power. But then just a few years later, the hydrogen bomb comes along, and it's over 1,000 times more powerful. Aschenbrenner's point is that AI could follow a similar path. Each breakthrough, it's not just a step, it's a launch pad for something even bigger.
So instead of waiting decades, centuries even, to see what AI can do, we could be talking about years, maybe even months, to go from like AI that can write a decent email to, I don't know, AI that can solve world hunger or something.
The potential is there, both the good and the concerning.
Yeah, that's the part that really gets me. Let's say this does happen and we create these like super intelligent AIs. How do we control something that might be millions of times smarter than us? I mean, seriously.
That's a billion-dollar question, right?
Right.
And it's something people are working on, but there are no easy answers.
Okay, but what are some ideas? What are people thinking about?
Well, a lot of the current methods, like something called RLHF, that's reinforcement learning from human feedback, they all rely on our ability to, like, grade the AI's homework, right?
Yeah.
Look at what it's doing and say, yep, that's good, or nope, try again. But what happens when the AI's thought process, it's just so complex, so different from how we think that we don't even understand what it's doing, let alone whether it's good or bad.
It'd be like, I don't know, trying to teach your dog how to do your taxes or something. At some point, the dog's just going to look at you like, what is this?
Exactly, and that's what makes this so challenging.
It's like we could be creating these powerful AI minds, but with no guarantee that they're going to like share our goals or even understand why we find those goals important in the first place. It's a little unnerving, to say the least.
Right, and that brings us to what might be Aschenbrenner's most urgent warning of all, the global power dynamics at play here. Who controls this technology, who gets there first? That's a whole other layer of complexity.
Okay, so we've talked about AI getting smart, like really smart, really fast, and the possibility of superintelligence, which honestly still has me kind of reeling. But now we're getting to the part that feels, I don't know, almost like a spy thriller, this whole geopolitical chess match happening around AGI.
And this is something Aschenbrenner feels very strongly about, that this isn't just some abstract, academic debate. He draws a direct comparison between the race for AGI and, believe it or not, the Gulf War.
The Gulf War. Back in the 90s, what does that have to do with, like, super intelligent AI?
Well, Aschenbrenner's point is that the Gulf War, it wasn't just about, like, who had more tanks or troops. On paper, Iraq actually had a bigger army.
Really? I didn't realize that.
It was technology that tipped the scales. The U.S. had smarter weapons, better intel. They could see what was happening and react way faster than Iraq. It was a decisive victory, in large part because of that technological advantage.
So what you're saying is Aschenbrenner thinks the race for AGI, it's like the Gulf War, but with, like, the fate of the world hanging in the balance.
Exactly. Imagine a country that doesn't just have a few high-tech weapons, but has an AI that can design completely new kinds of weapons, defenses, strategies that, frankly, we can't even comprehend at this point.
It's like we're not even playing the same game anymore.
And the stakes are incredibly high. Aschenbrenner is particularly concerned about, well, to be blunt, the U.S. falling behind in this race.
Really? He thinks that could actually happen. The U.S. has always been, like, the leader in tech.
It's not about what we've done. It's about what we're doing now. Aschenbrenner is really worried about security, or the lack thereof, in a lot of U.S. AI labs. He even suggests that China could steal crucial research.
Steal it, like actual espionage.
It wouldn't be the first time, right. But we're not just talking about theoretical algorithms here. We're talking about something called model weights.
Model weights. Okay, you've officially lost me. What in the AI glossary is that?
Think of it this way. The model weights, they're basically the digital brain of an AI. It's everything the AI has learned, all its training, all in one package. Stealing that, it'd be like, I don't know, getting your hands on the secret formula for Coca-Cola, but 1,000,000 times more valuable.
And dangerous, probably, in the wrong hands.
Exactly. Aschenbrenner argues we need to start treating this with the same seriousness, the same urgency as, say, the Manhattan Project. pool our resources, get the best minds together, and make security the absolute top priority.
So not just a tech problem, a national security problem on a whole other level.
Exactly. And it's not just up to governments or researchers to figure this out either. This affects all of us.
It's a lot to process, right? This whole idea of AGI, superintelligence, the speed of it all, the global implications.
It is. It's a lot to wrap your head around. But the point of this deep dive isn't to scare anyone. It's to get people thinking, talking, asking questions. Because the future of intelligence, the future of, well, everything, is this uncertain, then we all have a stake in shaping how it unfolds.
It's like Aschenbrenner said, we're in the end game. And what we do next, the decisions we make, the conversations we have, they really could determine what that end game looks like. So yeah, definitely something to think about long after you've hit pause on this deep dive.